Welcome to the Smart Practice Toolkit series. Start the year right, payroll tips for physician practices. Hi, I'm Christine Porras. A little bit more about myself before we get started. I'm a certified payroll professional and serve as the payroll supervisor within Yo & Yo's consulting service line in the Saginaw office. I lead the firm's outsourced payroll solutions group and have built a team that services over 125 clients, processing and managing their payroll end to end. Since joining Yo & Yo in 1998, I've built a career spanning more than 27 years, specializing in payroll compliance, multi-state reporting, fringe benefit taxation, and strategic payroll consulting. My expertise helps organizations navigate complex regulations and implement best practices. I'm deeply involved in advancing the payroll profession. For over 10 years, I've served on Payroll Org's Michigan statewide committee. I am currently serving my third year as Board of Advisor for Region 6, providing insight and guidance to support payroll professionals across the region. I am also a co-founder, past president, and current member of the Great Lakes Bay Professionals. Running a healthcare practice isn't easy. Between managing patients, keeping up with regulatory changes, tracking reimbursements, and making sense of your financials, it's a lot. At Yo & Yo, we understand these challenges. With a century of experience and 5 companies that specialize in accounting, HR, medical billing, IT, and wealth management, we can help with just about every part of your practice. We work with over 450 practices across more than 30 specialties. Our healthcare team is not only experienced, but genuinely cares about helping practices succeed. So whatever your goals are, whether it's getting more efficient, boosting profitability, or just finding someone who understands what you're dealing with, we're here to help. Let's talk about why reviewing payroll early in the year is so important. Starting with a yearly payroll review helps prevent costly errors and ensures you stay compliant with all legal regulations. It's about being proactive rather than reactive. Verifying employee information at the start of the year is critical. Accurate data means accurate compensation and benefits administration, which builds trust and avoids issues later. Updating tax rates and benefit elections early is another key step. This keeps payroll accurate and ensures you meet all regulatory requirements without last-minute surprises. Finally, early payroll planning reduces stress for everyone. It helps avoid penalties and ensures employees are satisfied with timely, correct payments, something that impacts morale and retention. In short, early payroll review sets the tone for a smooth, compliant, and efficient year. At the start of every year, it's critical to confirm employee details, names, addresses, social security numbers, and tax elections. This helps prevent errors down the road. Use E-Verify, which is a federal web-based system that compares information on an employee's I-9 to data from Social Security to confirm employment eligibility. The Social Security Administration also has a free program to verify employee names and Social Security numbers to avoid mismatches. And here's an important tip. If an employee changes their name due to marriage or divorce, make sure they update their name with Social Security Administration first. Always request a copy of the new Social Security card before making any changes to the payroll system. Life happens. Marriage, divorce, having a child, adoption, or even job loss. These events can affect tax withholding. Encourage employees to review and update their W-4 whenever these changes occur to avoid surprises at tax time. Employees who claim exempt need to submit a new W-4 by February 15th each year. If they don't, we're required to change their status to single for withholding purposes. This is a compliance requirement, so it's important to stay on top of it. Accurate data and timely W-4 updates are the foundation of proper tax withholding and smooth W-2 distribution. This reduces errors, prevents penalties, and keeps us compliant with federal and state regulations. Let's briefly cover why it's so important to correctly classify your workers. If you misclassify an employee as an independent contractor, your practice could face IRS penalties and compliance issues. For example, if you hire a locum tenens physician through an agency, that person is usually an independent contractor. But if you directly hire a medical assistant, even just for one shift, they are considered your employee. Here's a common mistake. Suppose your receptionist also cleans the office one night a week after hours. Even though the cleaning is a separate duty, this person is still your employee, not an independent contractor. It's incorrect to give them a 1099 for those cleaning hours. They should receive all their pay, including for cleaning, on their W-2. Remember, employees get a W-2 and contractors get a 1099 NEC. Both forms must be filed by January 31st or you risk penalties. So review your worker classifications each year. If you're unsure, consult a payroll or tax professional. Getting this right protects your practice and keeps you compliant. Now let's talk about the importance of keeping your payroll policies up to date. At the start of each year, it's a good idea to review and revise your payroll policies, especially those related to overtime, PTO accrual, ESTA, which is the Earned Sick Time Act in Michigan, and bonuses. This helps ensure you're staying compliant with the latest regulations. Once you make updates, be sure to communicate any policy changes clearly to your staff. This avoids confusion and helps everyone understand how payroll processes work. Now let's talk about W-2 reprints. The IRS does allow you to charge employees a fee for reprinting W-2s. If you choose to do this, make sure your policy clearly states there is a charge. Outline the process for requesting a reprint and that you treat everyone the same. Consistency is the key for fairness and compliance. Also, if you don't already offer electronic W-2 distribution, consider implementing it. Electronic delivery can significantly reduce the administrative burden on you and your staff, especially when it comes to reprints and distribution. If you do have electronic distribution, make sure your employees know how to opt out if they prefer paper copies. Having structured, well-communicated payroll policies not only reduces administrative headaches, but it also builds trust and transparency with your team. Let's move on to tax rates and limits, an essential step for payroll accuracy and compliance. At the start of each year, it's important to update your payroll tax system with the latest federal and state tax rates, Social Security limits, and retirement plan contribution caps. This helps ensure you're withholding the correct amounts and staying compliant with all regulations. For those of us in Michigan, take note. The state's minimum wage increased from $12.48 per hour to $13.73 per hour this month. Make sure your payroll system reflects these changes so you don't accidentally underpay employees or run into compliance issues. Keeping your payroll system current prevents both under and over withholding, helps you avoid penalties, and supports accurate payroll calculations throughout the year. In summary, regular updates to your payroll system are a simple but critical way to ensure compliance and keep your payroll running smoothly. Let's talk about confirming employee benefits and contribution limits at the start of the year. First, it's important to review employee benefit elections, things like health insurance, HSAs, and retirement plans. Double-checking these selections ensures that everyone's coverage and payroll deductions are accurate and up to date for the new year. Next, make sure your payroll system is set up to apply the correct annual contribution limits for tax advantage accounts such as HSAs and retirement plans. This helps prevent employees from exceeding those limits as the year progresses. It is also a good idea to coordinate with your benefits provider and update your payroll system promptly. This keeps everything running smoothly and ensures employees are satisfied with their benefits and payroll deductions. In summary, a quick review of benefit elections and payroll system settings each year helps maintain compliance, prevents errors, and supports positive experience for your team. Let's move on to ACA compliance and some key deadlines you'll want to keep in mind. ACA stands for the Affordable Care Act. First, it's important to note that these ACA reporting requirements only apply to practices with 50 or more full-time employees or full-time equivalent employees, or those with self-funded health plans. If your practice doesn't meet these criteria, you are not required to file these ACA forms. For those of you who are required to comply, it's a good idea to start preparing your ACA forms, specifically Forms 1095C and 1094C, early in the year. Getting a head start helps you avoid last-minute submission issues and reduces your compliance risk. Be sure to coordinate with your benefits providers to ensure you're collecting accurate data for the ACA reporting. Good communication here can make the process much smoother. Remember, the deadline to submit ACA forms to the IRS is March 2nd, 2026. Mark that date on your calendar to make sure you stay compliant. Also keep in mind that you only need to provide paper copies of ACA forms to employees if they request them. You do not have to distribute them automatically. Staying on top of these requirements helps you avoid penalties and ensures your practice remains compliant with ACA regulations. Let's talk about managing carryover and leave balances, an area that's easy to overlook but critical for both compliance and employee satisfaction. First, it's important to regularly review PTO and sick leave balances to ensure they're accurate and align with your organization's policies. This helps prevent any surprises for employees and keeps your records clean. Next, make sure you clearly communicate your leave policies to staff, especially provisions like use it or lose it. When employees understand how much time they can carry over, it reduces confusion and helps them plan their time off. Accurate leave tracking also helps prevent disputes and supports effective workforce planning and scheduling. If you know who has leave coming up, you can better manage coverage and avoid last-minute scrambles. Finally, consider including leave balance audits as part of your annual payroll review. This not only maintains transparency, but also builds trust with your team, showing that you're committed to fairness and accuracy in all aspects of payroll. Let's talk about the importance of staying ahead of regulatory updates. Payroll regulations are always changing, so it's essential to consistently monitor wage thresholds, tax laws, and state-specific rules to ensure your practice stays compliant. One way to do this is by leveraging timely resources, like our YOE alerts, which can notify you right away when there are changes that affect payroll. Looking ahead, there's a new requirement starting in January 2026. You'll need to track and report qualified overtime on the 2026 W-2 forms to meet the One Big Beautiful Bill Act regulations. Preparing for these changes now will make compliance much easier when the time comes. Being proactive about regulatory updates helps you avoid penalties and support smooth, compliant payroll operations throughout the year. Upgrading your payroll technology is also a smart way to reduce errors and save time. Automated systems help you stay compliant with changing tax laws and other features like benefit integration and real-time reporting. Investing in these tools streamlines payroll and supports a smoother, more accurate process for your practice. As we wrap up, let's recap why starting the year with a thorough payroll review is so important. Early payroll review helps you maintain legal compliance and ensures accurate employee compensation throughout the year. By updating employee details and tax rates early, you reduce errors and avoid costly financial penalties in your payroll processing. Accurate and timely payroll also fosters trust and satisfaction among your employees, which goes a long way toward building a positive work environment and boosting morale. Ultimately, preparation at the start of the year sets the tone for a smooth, stress-free payroll process that's aligned with your organizational goals. Thank you for your attention, and I hope these tips help you start the year right. Thanks for tuning in today. If you have any questions about what was presented or you would like to discuss challenges your practice is facing, please reach out and I'd be happy to connect and discuss how we can help. Thank you. Stay tuned for future webinars that will be released as part of our Smart Practice Toolkit webinar series.